Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about Paint. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, movie stars Owen Wilson, who's at this point mainly known for saying, wow. But he's done plenty of movies, okay? Like his legacy is similar to Matthew McConaughey's legacy, where his legacy is basically him going, all right, all right, all right. It's same thing, pretty much. Yeah, Owen Wilson, he's a very recognizable guy. He's been in a lot of movies, like a whole lot of movies. It's kind of insane. But let's go through some of the more notable ones. The first one I recognize there's Anaconda, Armageddon, I guess The Haunting 2, Shanghai Noon, and Shanghai Nights, where he co-starred with Jackie Chan. Meet the Parents, that was a big hit. Like there's Meet the Parents, and then there was Meet the Fockers, and then Little Fockers. That whole trilogy. Zoolander became a big old cult classic. Um, Behind Enemy Lines, I'm not sure that did well. I could check. Okay, that did kind of but yeah, The Royal Tenenbaums. I believe that was Wes Anderson's biggest movie for like a long time. I think it was only beaten by Grand Budapest Hotel. But yeah, that did pretty well. Let's see. There's Starsky and Hutch. That did well. I already mentioned Meet the Fockers. Wedding Crashers. Big old hit, smash hit right here. Huge success with that. The Cars movies, Cars 1, 2, and 3. I don't really count animated roles because I don't think they contribute much to a movie's success in the grand scheme of things. But it kind of depends on it kind of depends on like the marketing of it. Because a lot of DreamWorks movies, they heavily emphasize who's voicing the characters. Pixar, not so much. But yeah, Cars. I mean, he's Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. Pretty iconic character right there. There's what else we got? You, Me, and Dupree. That did fine. The 90 Museum movies, 1, 2, and 3. See, Marley and Me. That was a big hit. Fantastic Mr. Fox. That wasn't a hit, but it's an amazing movie. It deserved so much better than what it got at the box office. But now it's seen as a classic, so it won in the end. See what else. Hall Pass I think did okay-ish. Midnight in Paris did pretty decent. What else? Oh, Freebirds, the movie where, turkeys have to go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to take turkeys off the menu. That weird meme that started happening, I think the last 2 years. It happened like every Thanksgiving, especially this last Thanksgiving. It was brought up so much, and it's gonna come back this Thanksgiving. It's gonna be a yearly meme, so be prepared. um, there is the Grand Budapest Hotel, but he had like a lot of these roles are kind of like minor roles, or at least like supporting roles. But yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. I believe that's Wes Anderson's new biggest. Yeah, that is his biggest movie now. What else do we have? Cars 3. Wonder. That was a really strong hit. A hit that I didn't really see coming, but it did fantastic. And now we're here with Pain. So Owen Wilson, he's had a lot of hits. He's had a lot of bombs, but I'll get to those later when we get to the cons. But overall, I say his presence is a pro. So that's what I'm going to say. Owen Wilson's a pro, although he has a lot of bombs that I will mention when we get to the cons part of the video. Another pro is that, okay, so here's the thing. When I heard about this movie, I didn't pay much attention to it. All I really looked at was the poster and like the thumbnail of a trailer. And my mind thought, "Oh, this is about Bob Ross." That's what I thought. And I'm pretty sure we all know who Bob Ross is at this point, I mean, he's probably one of the most iconic painters of the last 50 years, at least half a like he's definitely the most iconic of like, the past few decades. And he only like recent like the last few years he got this big old resurgence online, and like he started getting parodied and a lot of stuff. I know Deadpool 2 did a parody of Bob Ross for one of I believe it's teaser trailer. So I mean there's that. I mean Bob Ross, I mean I thought this was about Bob Ross. I mean, look at this. Like the shirt, the perm, the afro, the go to a special place, like that type of stuff. I thought of Bob Ross. Anyone with a brain immediately thought of Bob Ross. That's what I thought Owen Wilson was doing. No. No. That's apparently not the case. I found out like a little bit before making this video that this is based on Bob Ross. This is not Bob Ross. Owen Wilson's playing this guy called Carl Nargle, which is like I feel bamboozled. I feel like I've been tricked. I feel like I've been scammed. Like why do this? Why not just make a Bob Ross movie? Why you gotta make a movie like inspired by Bob Ross? Like I don't get it. I imagine I'm not the only person who feels this way. I hope I'm not the only person who feels this way. Because if I'm like the only person who knew this wasn't about Bob Ross, I feel really dumb right now. But yeah, so obviously, this being inspired by Bob Ross, I feel like that's gonna drive some people to watch it, and they may or may not be bamboozled because of that. They may or may not be tricked. They'll probably be tricked. They're gonna be like, "What the heck is this? This is like they really thought this was." This whole movie perplexes me, but yeah, I feel like Bob Ross, this being inspired by Bob Ross, that's gonna inspire some people to watch it. I can't imagine they're gonna be too thrilled when they actually watch the movie, but I feel like Bob Ross is like a presence, or I guess the inspiration of this being about Bob Ross. I'd say that's a pro-ish. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. I am, oof. Cons. Let's go with cons. Cons. This is gonna be so easy. Cons. Let me tell you. Reviews are bad. They're like kind of surprisingly bad. I mean, everyone's talking about like the Super Mario Brothers movie game like a 56%, or like, and people are like, there's been like a lot of hoopla regarding that critic score, and yeah, people think like that's a terrible score. Like that is not Paint. Okay, that Paint has a 32% critic score, which like you would think like this movie feels, or at least to me, it felt like Oscar bait ish stuff, but this is clearly not the case. But what's even worse, what's even more detrimental is its audience score, which is a 48%. That is horrible. Audiences are historically a lot more forgiving towards to movies compared to critics. Like critics, for a lot of movies, they will tear it to shreds, but audiences will be like, "It was fine. It was all right." Like, but this is not the case. It feels like both critics and audience are like, "Yeah, this sucks." I'm gonna read some of these reviews just, I guess for my curiosity. Yeah, it feels like some people. Let me see. Uh, I feel it seems like I'm not the only person who felt bamboozled. Let me read this. I was expecting a movie based on the life of Bob Ross. What we saw was a story mocking the life of Bob Ross. Ooh, that sounds that's a yikes right there. um, so yeah, I feel like just yeah, audiences are not, they do not like this at all. I feel like it might get worse. So yeah, critic score, audience score, both terrible. Those are gonna kill that movie easily. So yeah, critic score, audience score, bad. So that's a big old con right there. Another con is that Owen Wilson, sure, he's been in a lot of movies, but it doesn't mean all his movies are hits. Okay? doesn't I mean, let's go look through this again. Trying to think like the most important ones. Let's see. I Spy, that was with Eddie Murphy. That did really bad. that was that 2002 was like the worst year to be uh Eddie Murphy. He had 3 bombs that year. It was like Showtime, Pluto Nash, and then I Spy. All tanked. And Owen Wilson was an I Spy, so yikes. The Big Bounce, I think that was a big flop. Around the World in 80 Days, that was a bomb. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, that was like a Wes Anderson flick. That didn't do well. It bombed, but it is well received. So it's one of those. I guess you could say it's one of those tragic failures. Drillbit Taylor did real a hard yet it didn't do well. Marmaduke. Anyone remember Marmaduke from 2010? I hope not. That movie's not good. It that did terrible. How do you know it was one of the biggest bombs ever? That movie cost $120 million, which I don't know how in the hell that's even possible for a movie like this, but it cost that much and made so little in comparison. Like disaster. um, trying to see the Big Year, that was a bomb. The Internship flopped. Let's see. Inherent Vice didn't do too well. No Escape did real bleh, I guess. I mean, it wasn't super expensive, but still pretty bleh in the grand scheme of things. Zoolander 2 flopped. Masterminds flopped. Father Figures bombed. The French Dispatch. Well, that movie was kind of screwed in a way because it was like adult movies were just not. It was not going well for adult movies during this time. And then Marry Me underperformed. So yeah, Owen Wilson, he is not immune to failure, not in the slightest, not in the slightest. So yeah, um, so, so yeah, his uneven track record is a con. So you could argue his presence is both a pro and a con. It has its good and its bad. Another thing that's bad is that this movie's got like no real publicity. I haven't seen like much advertising for it. I know there was trailers, but no real like hard push for this movie. I haven't seen it. I haven't really seen it. I've seen obviously Mario Brothers. Everyone knows Mario's out now. Everyone on America knows that movie is coming out or it's been released. Even Air. A lot of people know Air exists. A lot of people don't know that Paint exists. So yeah, severe lack of advertising, or at least notable advertising. That's a con. Another con is that competition. Well, I'm just gonna say it straight up. No one's gonna watch this movie this weekend. Everyone, everyone is gonna watch Mario. We're already seeing that at the box office. It made 31 million Wednesday, 26 million Thursday. It's expected to make almost $200 million throughout the 5-day weekend from Wednesday to Sunday. 200 million. That is some. That is. I can't even describe that. so so that's literally the only movie people are going to watch this weekend. If they're going to watch something else, it's probably only because Mario, screenings are like sold out or something. So they got to watch something else. There's so many other options, better options. There's Air, there's John Wick 4, there's Dungeons and Dragons. You can watch any of those and have a much better time than this. So, yeah, like this movie is going to get steamrolled several times over. And so, yeah, dealing with Mario and Air and everything else, that's an enormous problem. And don't even get me started. Like the rest of the month of April, there's like a lot of movies coming out, especially next weekend. There are 6 movies, 6 coming out next weekend. Let me tell you, I'm not looking forward to that. But all the with so many movies come out in April, this movie is the chances of it slipping, falling through the cracks. Those chances only increase. Are only getting worse. It's just like it's just doomed to fail at this point. So brutal competition this weekend and the rest of April. Con, enormous con. Um, Another con is that this is from, I believe, IFC Films. They only had like 2 real notable hits: My Big Fat Greek Wedding and Boyhood. That's really it. They haven't really released anything else besides that. Although I may have covered one of their movies earlier this year. What was The Lost King? That only hasn't even made $1 million, so that's a yikes. Yeah. Oof. Yes, that's really bad. um, and Consecration, that only made like $500,000, so that should really tell you a lot. So yeah, they don't have a great track record at all. They have a pretty poor track record, if you ask me. So that's a con. Another con, this movie's only opened like 800 theaters, which is like nothing in comparison to like all the other movies that are out right now. So, um, yeah, that low theater count, that does this movie no favors. So that's a con. And I think that's it. So opening weekend, oh, I forgot it's Easter. How could I forget? It's Easter weekend, so this movie's gonna get a boost. Every movie is gonna get an artificial boost Friday because it's Good Friday. People are off work, people, kids are out of school, all of that leads to the box office being like a boom period for the box office, and then the rest of the weekend everything just crashes. That's just how it goes. And yeah. Um so yeah, releasing like on like a big weekend like Easter, like that's a good thing, I guess. It's not gonna matter, but releasing on this weekend is, I'd say it's well, if the competition wasn't intense, I would say this was a good weekend to launch, but it sure isn't, considering what's been going on with Mario. So yeah, so opening weekend, I forgot. All right, where was I? I think $1 million is guaranteed. I'd be shocked if it didn't hit $1 million. I think it will hit $1 million opening weekend. I'm going with 1 million, but total, this movie's not gonna have any legs, judging by word of mouth, judging by all the movies coming out in the very near future. I think this movie's gonna crash hard, 2 to 3 million total. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie was like it made more opening weekend than it did throughout the rest of its run. So, yeah, 2 to 3 million total. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm sticking with, and that's it. So yeah, that was the weekend. That was Man. This weekend's it's been a ride, and I mean it's been a ride ever since Wednesday with the Mario movie just decimating any and all expectations, including mine. It's been a wild. It's like we could. There's a high chance that the Mario movie might be the biggest movie of the year, at least domestically, maybe even worldwide. Think about that. Mario, number one for 2023. Lunacy. So yeah. So all right. So next week, 6 movies. Dear God, 6 movies. We got no, Mafia Mama, Nefarious. I don't even know. I think I never even heard of Nefarious. The Pope's Exorcist, Renfield, Suzume, which is an anime, and Sweetwater. There's way too many movies coming out one weekend. Of all these, I only see two doing well, or at least having the biggest impact. And I feel like those two movies might even hurt each other a little bit because they're literally part of the same genre. Those movies being Pope's Exorcist and Renfield. But yeah, 6 movies coming out next weekend. I gotta mentally prepare myself for that. So get ready because Friday or early Saturday, like Saturday, you're gonna be seeing a lot of uploads. So be prepared. But yeah, so that's next week. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year. So if you want to watch any of the ones I've done this year or the past few years, you can go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I never covered Paint ever. I'm pretty sure I have. I will check very quickly, but I am confident that I didn't. How about? No, I have not. Okay. But I have made 185 episodes of Cancel. The most recent one was about Aquaman 2, Color Purple, Ballerina, Minecraft, and Five Nights at Freddy's. All those movies. So if you want to watch that episode or any other episodes I've done, all 185 of them, you can go right ahead. I highly encourage you to do that. You want to binge them all from beginning to now, go do that. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. March recap next week is going to be long because there's so much to discuss, both good and bad. Because March was quite the experience. As like a box office watcher like me, it was a it was something. And April, it's already looking insane with the Mario movie just making all the dollars. So yeah. So yeah, March recap next week. Stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made this year, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's or all the recap videos I made on the channel. You can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.